Still reviewing Punch, you had a story?
Yes, so the Nigerian Customs Service deployed drones and more operatives to restrict the diversion of foodstuff to neighboring countries through about 1,500 identified illegal border crossings. The National Public Relations Officer Customs, Abdullahi Maiwada, was the one who confirmed this to the Punch yesterday, and he says the NCS had increased its presence across the borders, including illegal routes. So he said that the development was in accordance or in compliance with the president's directive to the security agencies to stop the smuggling of food out of the country as part of the measures to stem the food crisis in the country. And they said this started happening because in the midst of the falling value of our naira, traders who were dealing in grains were taking their grains and other staples to other countries, Niger Republic, Chad, and Cameroon, for higher profits. And because of that, the food prices went up in Nigeria. We've had a lot of people protesting, and attacking food trucks all across Nigeria. So worried by the situation, the president had directed the National Security Advisor, the Inspector General of Police, and the Director Department of State Services to go after food hoarders and smugglers, and they have been doing so. So far, they've been intercepting trucks of food that were meant to go to other countries and sending them back to the country, and they were able to do that as well as getting these drones in partnership with the Trade Modernization Project of the federal government, and they are the ones supplying all the equipment that they are using and also the manpower that they need to be able to stem this. Yeah.
Okay, Daily Sun. National Assembly considers conduct of all elections same day. Terrorism charges IPOB leader Kanu returns to Abuja court. Tinubu rallies Dangote, Elumelu, others to stabilize economy. Supreme Court gets full complement of 21 justices. We will build on huge infrastructural legacy of ex-governor Bello, says Fanwo. Lagos plans additional 2,050 BRT buses to ease transportation. Serap sues 36 governors over alleged failure to account for 40 trillion naira local government allocations. And Peter Obi warns against clampdown on bureau de change operators. Okay, which story?
NDLEA. Okay. Operatives of NDLEA on Sunday said that the unmasked members of an organized criminal network behind the recent importation of 2 containers laden with illicit drugs as well as assorted arms and ammunition from Durban, South Africa to the Tincan seaport. And they said following credible intelligence, they had looked through these containers and they found bags of Colorado weighing 192.7 kg, a pistol, rounds of ammunition removed from the container, and all these were removed from the container and they were hidden in an empty container. Anyway, it led to arrest of some dock workers and another suspect called Mohammed Sule, alias Organiser. He's at large. He's also a dock worker at the Tincan terminal. So they said that this latest seizure brings the total recovered from the 2 containers to 56.39 kg of cocaine, 987.9 kg of Colorado, and so on and so forth. Also, this investigation led them to the kingpins. They said these people are in South Africa. They are Odeyemi Taiwo Emmanuel, Akiyemi Olayinka, and Adibayo Adewale Emmanuel. They are now on the agency's wanted list. Well done, NDLEA. And of course, there are even more stories of what NDLEA is doing across the country. Yeah.
Yeah, son. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, filed a suit against the 36 state governors and the Minister of the Federal Republic of Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Abuja, Mr. Nyesom Wike, for the failure to account for the alleged missing 40 trillion federal allocations meant for local governments in the states and the FCT. So they said that they had to file the suits because there was a revelation made by the former president, President Muhammadu Buhari, in December 2022, where he stated that if the money from the federation accounts to the state is about 100 million, 50 million will be sent to the chairman, but he will sign that he received 100 million. Then the chairman will pocket the balance and share it. He said the president said that, yes. And that's why they are filing for this. And now in the suit, they filed it last Friday at the Federal High Court, Abuja. SERAP is asking the court to direct and compel the governors to publish details of local governments allocations and actual disbursement of their allocations to the local governments in their respective states from 1999 to date. They are also asking the court to compel and direct Mr. Wike to publish details of the federal allocation meant for the area councils in the FCT and the actual disbursement of the allocation to the area councils in the FCT from 1999 to date. So they asked for a lot of things, but they are hinging on the fact that they need all those allocations to be transparent, so that Nigerians have a right, a human right, to be able to see what is being spent, what is being allocated, and to be able to monitor all of this. And they need this to be made open. I think this is what democracy is all about. So you should show us how these monies are spent, and then we can, have the conversation.
Seraph is one of the most active pressure groups.
They are. They are doing good.
Good for them. So hopefully the government respond. Now, the onus now on the government to respond.
We have to obey the rule of law in this country.
Yeah, I have a story.
I have a story too, but go ahead.
No, okay. So, due to the hardship in the country, various associations are threatening to go on strike or to shut down. And then one of them, the Bakers Association of Nigeria, the bread producers threatened shutdown.
Wow.
Where they threatened to shut down production of bread if their demands are not met within 2 weeks. Briefing newsmen in Owerri, the Imo State capital, at the weekend, the state chairman of the association, Osman Nkoma, on behalf of the national body, said this has become necessary following several appeals to the federal government to help in bringing down the cost of bread productions. Yes. So the bakers further listed their demands to include liberalization of flour and sugar importations, reduction of import duties on major baking materials, provision of concessionary forecast exchange of flour millers, production of tariff on imported wheat and sugar, and tax holidays.
Okay. All right. So the leader,
Find new ways.
Yes, I can lose weight.
the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra will today return to Abuja, division of the Federal High Court, for his trial on terrorism charges. If you recall, the case had started back in 2015. Was put on hold after the Court of Appeal dismissed the terrorism charges against him back in 2022 in October. But the Supreme Court, back in December 2023, ordered the continuation of the trial, which is going to start today. And part of the notice that was given was that all the, according to the Justice Bintan Yako, said that if either parties desire to postpone the hearing, it must apply to the court as soon as possible for that purpose, and that they expect everybody to come in with all the witnesses, all the documents leading to for the case must be provided, so that the case can continue today. Okay, moving on now to Vanguard. Let's find another story. Job losses, factory closures loom as unsold goods pile up, says man. Qatar makes U-turn to host investment forum during Tinubu's visit. Forex crisis, clamp down on bureau de change will worsen situation, says Peter Obi. Edo Guba, 15 men, 1 woman angling to succeed Obaseki. An anti-hardship rally, Falano writes AGF seeks protection for the NLC protesters. Okay.
Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, they're saying given the plunge or the continual plunge of the value of our naira since the flotation of the currency by CBN, and also the attendant consequences of that, of the falling exchange rate and all, it has an impact on the manufacturing industry. They're saying, in manufacturing sector, they're saying that reports across board is that many warehouses and plants of manufacturing firms are stockpiled with unsold goods manufactured last year. As a result, what is causing this stockpiling? They agreed the exchange rate. Then they say fake and substandard goods, smuggling and other macroeconomic challenges, and that this has now put the manufacturers in a great dilemma as they're applying brakes on the production, and they're watching the market keenly so that they would see if this is something that they can continue. But they're also saying that no genuine manufacturer could successfully operate and make profit under the current scenario. And so they're going to be looking at it. They have companies like Nigerian breweries also recently issuing new price review notifications. So all this is going to affect whether producers will produce anything new. Too, with the recent price increase, Nigerians will buy these products, and if they are not selling, it may mean some people will be laid off. So this has a huge multiplier effect on our economy, and they are warning us on how this is doing so.
Yes, so the presidential candidate of Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, Peter Obi, is describing the arrest of the Bureau de Change operators as well as the destruction of their businesses by government agencies as primitive and escapist. He advised government agencies involved to desist from because the BDCs were not the root cause of fluctuations in the foreign exchange market, neither were they were they responsible for the fall of the Naira in the first place. So in his X handle yesterday, he says the actions were primitive and he showed a poor understanding of the problem. And he wrote, I want to quote this, he said, "The recent reported attacks and disruption of the business activities of Bureau de Change operators in different urban centers across the country by government and government agencies are ill-advised and wrongly directed. Rather than solve the problem, the action will further escalate and worsen the exchange rate situation in the country. The BDCs are not the primary suppliers of forex, nor do they create demand. They only provide a market to sellers and buyers of foreign currency. They are part and parcel of every economy and can be found even in the developed economies of the world." It says to think that the BDCs are the cause of the declining value of the Naira smacks rational economic thinking. And the only way to show up the value of our currency is to move the country from consumption to production, especially export-led products, and also to fight corruption, which allows unproductive money to pursue the available supply of the foreign currency. And as long as we remain unproductive in producing and exporting, we will not get Naira to be back to where it's supposed to be. And so it's not the fault of the BDCs. That we should, continually think of ways to increase our own export so that we can get this dollar and stop embarrassing ourselves in front of the global economies.
I felt it was unfair just picking them up and just criminalize them.
Yes, all of a sudden.
When you have always
I know that even in other countries, they operate.
Production doesn't happen by night.
Yes,
You take time working.
You also need electricity.
There are some immediate steps you take first.
Power.
There's some immediate steps you take first. Even the production,
Electricity.
sometimes you have to do some check-up, but eventually, when the system is properly done, then they can function well in the proper system.
Exactly.
Moving on now to the Nigerian Tribune, if we have time.
No?
Oh, we don't have any more time. That's all we can take on the reviews. When we come back, move on to the next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.